and then side to side, you basically just shift your body weight, and it catches the wind, and it'll start traveling over, and then basically shift it back whichever way you need to go. You're literally controlling the bike like an airplane, but you're definitely, flying the bike. You're flying our aluminum machine, by the seat of your pants. You're flying it.
With a couple of jumps under their belts, our riders are gaining confidence when suddenly the sky darkens and their time is cut short.
Look at how crazy that is over there, brother.
With the forecast looking patchy, the promoters are praying that this multi-million-dollar setup has not all been for nothing.
We'll get a good session in the morning, and I'm sure it'll be all good.
The boys haven't had nearly the amount of practice they need. Adding to the already frayed nerves, they'll have to pray that their preparation has been enough to get them through. It's the day before the big night, and the weather is horrendous. Heavy rain is mudding the lander and takeoff, making conditions slippery and hazardous, not to mention depriving our riders of essential practice time. Now the morning of the event, the hot Queensland sun has helped dry out the track enough for the boys to get back to work and repair the lander. Time also for the last vital gear check. Any equipment failures will be deadly.
Pretty big gap, huh? I think the gap alone is like at 210, 200, something like that.
You couldn't pay me $100,000 to hit that ramp. It's true, I wouldn't do it. There ain't no senior citizen long distance record, so I'm gonna go for it next year about 100 clip.
There's no speedometer on our bike, so you just kind of got to guess at this point. Hope you make it right first time, then you'll kind of know your speed.
It seems Larry has worked out his speed for the run-up on his 250.
Hey, I'm not going to be comfortable until I'm like 5th tap, so I know exactly how to hit it.
Dude, well, I ain't got that one. 5th tapped, and I got 300.
While Trigger has identified his target, with the record currently at 251 feet, he's aiming for a record-breaking 260 feet.
Basically I cracked over 240 feet, so I'm feeling really comfortable. I can push it out another 20 feet and eat the deal.
But of all people, it's Robbie, on the smallest bike, that's the keenest to move the ramp further back.
I just got 200, so I just need a bit more run up because the motor, because it's geared so high, it needs a longer distance to kind of get the revs on board and build its maximum speed.
So you want to just leave it right here?
Well, if we come back another one, it puts me kind of in a better place in the ramp. I'm not going so far down the landing.
Whatever you feel comfortable with, brother.
The riders need to keep moving the ramp back and extending the gap if they want any chance of breaking the record.
You guys have one more couple of jumps on 210, or you then move it another 10 and go back to 220 and then
We're going to break record once we go to 220. Once it's a 220, record's broke.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Robbie is now battling a 30-kilometre side wind whilst trying to comprehend the magnitude of a 200-foot jump with a freestyle trick.
Basically we got rain yesterday. All the conditions have just worked totally against us. Practice this morning, we feel all good, and now the wind picked up again, so it's just one of those things where, if it gets too windy, we're going to have to call it. We got a couple more hours before showtime, so hopefully everything will go good.
I think at the end of practice, we're at 230. So that's basically where we just shut it down at, was 230.
When I was going for the record had stood at 251 feet for about 10 years. So that was the record I was going after. It's funny that record still pretty much stands. A guy in England said he beat it by 2 feet. So now supposedly the record's 253, but it's still pretty much the same deal. 2 feet's only that far, so whatever. it'd be nice to get it out there to 260, 265 this weekend, and then and hopefully come back with another day of records in the next 6 months to a year, and hopefully I'll be healthy and take it to the next level of 275 or 280.
As a rider, of course, you start to think about where you might be in a couple of hours.
When you start doubting yourself, and that's when you'll start getting hurt. It's just, you just got to be, you know, confident in what you do. And, you know, I've trained my whole life to ride and jump big jumps, so, you know, I'm just going to go out there and be natural.
I think actually after I break the record or fail, there's two different plans. It's either a hospital or they built a bar over there where we're gonna celebrate.
With the nerves now impossible to control, suddenly it's time for the gates to open and for 22,000 fans to pour into the Ipswich Raceway from all over Australia.
Queensland fans, welcome out to Queensland Raceway and what is tipped to be the biggest day in extreme sport ever in this country, of course, the World Record Day. We have got the 125 distance world record, the 250 longest trick world record, a quad distance jump, and then the big one, the 250, the 500, and the overall long distance world record. Folks, going on the practice, it will be broken here later on tonight.
To get the crowd warmed up for the big jumps to come, there are two more local Aussie lunatics set to make record attempts. The first is Clip Debner from Penrith, New South Wales, who's going to attempt the gap on a 50cc mini bike.
In the scene of mini bike racing, there is a record out there that is around 65 to 70 feet. Clint Debner, if he makes it over this point here, will break that record, but Clint Debner wants 90 feet, folks, on a mini bike, and that is the white line right here. Queensland, to get things underway, let's get loud for Clint Debner! There it is, 86.4 feet. Brisbane, a big round of applause for our first world record holder of the day, Clint Debner from
Well, he didn't quite make the white line, but it does take guts to attempt to jump on a bike like that.
That's how I roll.
There it is, Clint. Thanks very much.
The next was another typical Crusty demon, Queenslander Jamie Barkler, wanting to set a new world record mark on a quad bike.
Well, it is a little bit windy, and of course the quad's a lot heavier, which will soak up the wind a little bit more.
The world record is currently held by the Kangaroo Kid at 134 feet, which is 40.9 metres. I'm hoping for around the 150 mark.
Queensland, give it up for Jamie Barkler! Jamie will be going for the record on his first jump. The ramp has been set. Jamie is set to go. He said, if I miss it on the first one, can I go again? Jamie Barkler! Oh, yeah!
Getting the official word right now.
New world record of 149 feet! Jamie Barkler!
149 feet, Jamie Barkler jumps his way past the Kangaroo Kid and into the history books. With two records broken, it's now time to get into the really dangerous end of proceedings with the arrival of Robbie Madison.
Not only going off the big ramp to here, but how about we mix a little freestyle? You guys are going to see the attempt at the world record of the 250cc with the freestyle trick. Are you guys ready?
With no proven track record, Robbie Madison is definitely the unknown factor.